Hello, everyone. This is the IKEMAX podcast. Max and I played together 7 years ago for the Hyogo Storks, and when Max came to me with the idea of doing a podcast, I thought it would be a really, really great idea to have some of the guys who are playing overseas, around the world, or here in Japan, to have an outlet to kind of talk about themselves a bit and really put their personality on display for the fans.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll evolve into something where we can invite guests from different fields to share their knowledge and experiences as well. I think Japan in general has people from all facets of life, and I think it'll be really interesting to learn from them.
I agree.
Yeah, in our first episode, we have Thirdy Ravena. He's a star basketball player from the Philippines. He plays on a national team. His YouTube video gets millions of views and passed up the opportunity to become the number one draft pick of the PBA to become the first import player in the B-League here in Japan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was a remarkable young kid. I really enjoyed talking to him, just hearing him talk about life and his experiences being here in Japan. It was a huge step for him. To be the first Asian passport player here in Japan was a big step for him to take, but I think by speaking with him and the time that we talked to him, he has the emotional maturity, and he also wants to improve to the level where I think he's going to be a really good player for a long time here in Japan.
Yeah, I think we can both say that we became fans of his, and I think we'll both support his career from here on. If you ever want to see his social media, we'll put the links down below, and you can follow him on Instagram or other social media platforms that he's on.
Yeah, for sure, because he's such a great kid, and I think the future is limitless for him because he has the right mindset going forward. So thank you guys for being with us, and we really hope you guys enjoy it. Please give it a listen. He's a really nice young guy.
Thank you guys again. All right, welcome on the show. We have a special guest, Thirdy Ravena. Welcome on.
Thanks, konnichiwa. Thanks so much for having me, guys. I mean, appreciate it. So it's been a long time. Like, we planned this supposed to happen like a couple days before, but yeah, we're on now.
Thank you for coming on, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, sorry about that. The schedules had to line up. We've been busy playing a lot of games here.
That's a good problem, though. That's a good problem.
For sure.
Yeah, so how's life been so far? It's been about a month.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I think I've adjusted pretty easily due to my team, the amazing people out here in Japan, the amazing food, definitely. They just made it so much easier for me to adjust living alone because it's the first time I've actually lived alone. So I thought I was going to have a hard time, but, the team was making sure that I had everything that I need. They're providing me the house with a car. They gave me a car. So I pretty much have everything that I need. And yeah, the people are amazing out here too. So my life's been really I'm living life right now.
Have you done any exploring around, driving around the city any?
Yeah. As soon as I finished the quarantine period, I just immediately tried to go around to get to know the city a little bit. The first Sunday that out of my quarantine, I went out to this station where there were people, and I was surprised that some people knew me. I was just walking, I didn't expect them to know me. They're asking for pictures, and I haven't even played yet. So just the amount of love from the city has been amazing. So yeah, I mean, just like what I said earlier, I mean, I'm having a great time out here.
How's it like being 23 and leaving your friends and family, going to a different country? Japan has a really distinct culture as well. There's a lot of nuances within our culture that maybe people from outside the country can't really pick up on. How difficult has that been?
Well, definitely the decision was difficult. Just the fact that, how Filipinos are very family oriented. We're always used to staying with our families till we actually get married. And that's when we're going to move out. So just that decision alone was already a bit tough for me. Had a lot of, thoughts and doubts while waiting for me to leave for Japan, because I was thinking, can I actually do this? Am I actually going to be able to do it, to live alone for, almost a year without my family and my friends. And I was always used to having my friends around. I mean, my best friends would always come to the house because we had like a little gym set up right there, and we would just like work out together, spend a day together, basically like all the time. So yeah, we have that. And yeah, to not just learn how to live alone, but to move in a different country where you pretty much don't know anyone, and it's a different culture from ours. It's also tough. But when I got here, yeah, just like what I said earlier, everything here made it easy: the team, the people, the food. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, I remember when I was 23 years old, I was in Germany, and it was the first time I had really left my family behind. And I remember the team like really trying to help me go through it and everything. But what have you enjoyed the most, like other than the food?
Yeah, my teammates, definitely. I mean, I haven't had the chance to actually to meet other people, but just getting to know my teammates has been really fun for me because I got to know like everything, their stories, how they got to the team, the different, I just kept asking about different times in their careers, especially the vets. I wish I could get to know more with the other teammates. There's just a little bit of a language barrier, but I think most of them, a couple of them are actually taking up English lessons, which is really good because they're actually dedicated to communicate better with us imports and the coaches. So yeah, I mean, that's been my favorite part, especially when we would have practice, probably like early. And if we had practice early, I'd ask one of them or two of them out to lunch or someone to dinner after, and we just like hang out and chill and kick it. So those have been my favorite times so far.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro, because it's really similar to my experience. I really, really relied on my teammates that first year.
Yeah, definitely, because it's also my first year in the pros. So I also want to know like the ins and outs and everything, how everything goes out here. And yeah, so I just, stick to my teammates trying to ask for advice and how to do this, how to do that. And they've been really helpful. Even the Japanese players have been really helpful. They're so funny. I mean, I think they're just naturally funny people. So yeah, I mean, it's been great. Like they've taught me a lot on the court and off the court, and I got to know a lot more about Japan because of them too. So it's been great.
Can you take us into your decision to take the leap from leaving your country and going to Japan and playing basketball? Because you're the first one to ever do it. You might pave the way for future Filipino players to, cross borders. And what went into your decision to do so?
Well, I mean, the first one is because I realized that there was an opportunity, and that opportunity wasn't really given to a lot of people. It's the first time they opened the Asian player quota for the teams in the B.League, and no one's ever done it. So that's the thing. As a player, like I always try to do, to push myself, to challenge myself, and I feel like that move to Japan would really be a good start to my pro career because I'm gonna be out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna be challenged, having to live up to expectations to play like an import. That's also a challenge for me, and how I could make my teammates better in my first year. And I actually had the first offer. I was supposed to play in B2, and that was the first team that talked to me because he was a player of my university coach, Coach Tad Baldwin. So he coached Coach Paul Hinari of the Kagawa Five Arrows. And he reached out to me, and I was talking to him, but ended up being yeah, I ended up playing in the first division. Was talking to my agent, but I'm still in contact with him. Just making sure, like, because it's his first year out there too. So we just like talk to one another and see how the experiences are. So yeah, I mean, that's all. I mean, that's pretty much my journey. I had a couple of teams that I was supposed to play in, but yeah, it ended up being Neo Phoenix, and honestly, I think I made the right decision. The team was very warm. They welcomed me so much. They made me feel like I'm a part of the team already, right? Even before getting to Japan. So yeah, I think that's kind of like the process. I mean, how I got to Japan.
You kind of like being in kind of a smaller market than say like being in Tokyo. You might have more distractions, but being in Aichi, where you're currently at, you might have less things outside of basketball to really worry about.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I mean, my agent was telling me that, it's kind of hard to play in teams where, there's a lot of really, really good players, especially if it's in your position. Like, if you kind of want to get more experience out of your first year than trying to go straight away for the money if you want to play. And honestly, like I told him, like, I just want to be able to play. I want to be able to get minutes in my first year because I want the experience. Like, I just don't want to come to Japan for vacation. I want to come to Japan for a challenge because I want to be able to be a better basketball player. So, and I want my career to like, I want my experience to, really push, to just keep pushing myself, like even in my first year, because that's when you want to get all of the experience that you want. So I think that's what my agent said. He was just like, yeah, I think Neo Phoenix is a great choice. It's a great organization. It's a small city team, but yeah, I think you're gonna get a lot of experience out of it. They didn't really have the best season last season, but that just only means that there's not much expectations, so you could just really just try to play and hone your skills, and try to make the team better. And that's what people will actually see, that you make the team better, is when you guys like start to gel and start to play better and start to get more wins. And I think that's going to be a big positive in your end in my career. So I just followed him, and yeah, right now we're working hard with the team. So yeah, can't wait for a couple of the games to come, because we have like this 2-week break. So
I think that's definitely the right decision, bro, to go somewhere where you're going to play early on. You get to hone your talents, and then you're treated like an import. So you're given the opportunity to really, really help the team gel, and to help everyone around you get better. So as a young player, that's very, very crucial.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I really wanted to play in Neo Phoenix, because, I was watching their tapes, their highlights on YouTube, and I was just like, I think I could fit, with the last season that they've had. I told myself that I think I could actually play with the system, and because coach was like, coach was already calling me ahead of time, even before going to Japan, telling me what the plays were going to be and how is it going to be ran. So yeah, this early on, I was just like, yeah, I think I'm actually going to be able to find my niche in the team and hopefully get to help the guys out.
It's kind of a random question, but what were you doing wearing Jordan 1s in the game a few weeks ago? How did you come to play in Jordan 1s?
Oh, that's a funny story.
Bro, did you really do that?
Yeah, I played in the Fragments too. So
really?
Yeah.
Bro.
The funny story is because I was at the hotel, and we went to the game, and when we got to the locker, I was wearing my Jordans on the way already. So I was in the locker room, opened my bag, realized I left my sneakers at the hotel. And I was like, am I going to say this? Am I actually going to tell this to the team? Like, I don't want, because we don't have much, a lot of staff. Like, everyone's actually already doing something when the moment we get to the gym, to the arena, and I don't want to like, make anyone go back because I'm not going back because, when I do that, I already know my head's going to be all messed up. It's going to be like always in a rush. Like I'm not going to be able to focus. So I was just like, I guess I'm wearing these. So,
bro, even Jordan didn't play in Jordan 1s.
Yeah, I remember when the last dance when he had to play the Jordan 1s by halftime, his feet were bleeding. So
how are your feet, bro?
Yeah, they've been pretty good because I wear double socks. But that was the story, and you guys heard it first. Never really
because everybody was talking about that. Like he played in Jordan 1s. I'm like, no, he didn't.
Yeah. So yeah. I forgot my sneakers. So the moment I got back to the hotel, put my sneakers in the bag. So the next day I don't forget about them again. So
hey, I got to give you props though, man. Big respect for doing that.
Yeah, because I didn't want them to be like, it's his first year. Like it's our like fourth game. Already forgot his shoes. So I was like, yeah. Even some of my teammates were pretty like skeptical when they saw me. Like coach was looking at my shoe. Like one player, one of the imports asked, "Are you really playing in those?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess." So yeah, funny story.
What have you I guess thought about the Japanese way of playing basketball so far?
Yeah, I guess number one, it's pretty fast. The game just goes like back and forth, and you keep running and you get tired by the time you look up. There's still like 7 minutes left in the quarter, and I'm just like, wow, this is pretty fast. And you just keep like going up and down the court. So that's one adjustment I had to make, is to be in better shape, because you have to really run, because a lot of our opponents scored off of transition points too. So I had to make sure that I was going to get back on defense and ahead in offense, so we get to have some fast break points. But other than that, I think also tough because there are two imports on the court. I was used to playing in the university with like one import on the court, and in the Philippines, like in the PBA, there's only one import on the court too. So yeah, that's definitely something new, and it's going to be like also tougher because there are two guys that are pretty good, really skilled, aside from the locals. So that's also an adjustment I had to make. And I think just to live up to the quality and the expectations of playing as an import, because I always had the mindset, coming to Japan, you're not going to be a local, you're an import. So they're going to expect a lot out of you. So just the production, the numbers, and just making sure that the engine is running while you're inside the court is the expectation of that, and playing with that expectation is also pretty tough. So, but I'm getting used to it. I'm having fun out there still. So yeah, those are the adjustments that I had to make while playing in Japan.
What do you like about the Japanese style of playing basketball?
What do I like?
Because for me, I feel like being an import, I like the challenge of having to help the guys around me be better. I like the challenge of knowing that I'm going to be put in a position to have to come up with a big play or have to impact the game. And I always like that about Japanese basketball.
Yeah, definitely. I've said that before also, that, I was given a chance to actually have an impact in my first year. So being given that, I just want to make sure that I make the right decisions when I do that. And, I still make mistakes. I've had a lot of mistakes the past 5 games, but definitely learning. I always watch tapes with the assistant coach, that we watch the game the next day, and he actually has I ask if he's not busy, I ask him to do like a clip where I make like my mistakes, and I ask like where I could be better. So those things, like really trying to do whatever I can to help the team out, and loving that the challenge of just like what you said, sometimes being relied on to make the big plays, not necessarily all the time, because we have like good imports too. And also the challenge is, as an Asian import, you're treated as a local. So no, I get to be with the two imports inside the court, which means I have to be like, I might be in the court for a long amount of time. And yeah, just trying to make sure that I'm productive with the time that I'm given, and playing with these Japanese players. Like, I love playing with them because, they just do their thing. I mean, they don't really, they don't ask for the ball all the time. They're in the right places at the right time. They're sharp. So yeah, I guess that's what I love about the Japanese basketball. Like, you just know that they're going to be there when you need them to be.
Adding to, I guess, the film part of your, routine now, what is your current routine like, and how has that changed since transitioning into becoming a pro from college basketball?
Well, this one, I don't think it's much different from my last year in the university, because in my last year, that's when I really started to learn the importance of film, because, I already knew that I was going to be in the pros, and in the pros, you don't get as much time to prepare for your opponents, because back in the Philippines, we'd have like September, October, November, like 4 months for like 16 games. So like 3 months for 16 games. So, you have a lot of time to prepare. You can basically, with a coach that we have, Coach Tad Baldwin, like he showed us the importance of, film, and we see it during the games. We know where the ball is going to be. We know who's going to shoot the ball when we're there. And, being in the pros, especially in the B-League, where we'd have 5 games in 1 week, just like what we had last week, you're not going to have much time to prepare. So just having that, like, just being able to watch film right after the game with a coach, and knowing what you've done wrong, and reviewing everything, what the opponents are doing, who shoots the ball the most, and tendencies of the player you're going to defend, or the players you're going to defend, is, one thing that I learned. So I'm still doing that. I was doing that in my last year in my university. I'm still doing that now. But as for other routines, I guess it's just to come in as early as I could, because I have a skills trainer in the Philippines, which I work out with through FaceTime. So it's like an hour and 30 minutes of just skills, just basketball skills workout. And I'll call my strength and conditioning trainer, so he's going to work me out in the gym as well through FaceTime or Zoom. And yeah, we'd have practice probably, or I'd go to the gym 9 to 12 to individually work out, and then we'd have practice at like 2. I'd have lunch with, myself or whoever's in the gym, and then I'll go back at like right before practice, and from 2 to 4, 2 to 5 we practice, and then shoot a little bit after. I also have like a post-practice, like shooting drills that I do with the practice player that we have. And yeah, probably like invite someone out to dinner, like whoever in the team is down for dinner, and just, stay at home the whole day.
I love it, man. At your age, like the way you're approaching the game, the way you're trying to get better, the way you're dedicating yourself to the game, like when you're young, that's going to pay off down the line. Trust me, I remember being your age and doing all that stuff, and I could see my game starting to grow as the years pass by. So you're on the right track for sure.
Thank you. I mean, I'm just like, just doing whatever I could, because I know, like, growing up, I never really was the natural basketball player, quote unquote. Like, my brother was that. Like, he didn't really need to do much. Like, he just had the feel for the game, and he was just such a smart player that he could like try to, get away without having to work out all the time. And all I had, like, that's all I had growing up. I just had to put in the work, and I'm not even a natural basketball player. I wasn't gifted with that. So, but I was gifted with athleticism and speed, and I'm just trying to use that and trying to gain, the smartness with all the video, like trying to get the feel for the game as well. That's why I watched the video with my coach, so he could explain to me what's wrong. And sometimes I don't see the wrong things that in the video when I watch it myself. So when I watch it with a coach, you kind of realize, oh yeah, I did that wrong. Now I know, like, when the next time comes around, like, I can already see what I have to do instead of like missing it out on film and not being able to adjust to it the next game. So yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to put in as much work as I can, because it could be frustrating at times, but you know, when you like practice but you don't see the result, but it's gonna pay off definitely.
It'll definitely pay off, man. Just keep working.
Yep, 1% every day.
Where do you get that mindset from? I don't know, like Ike, he had a really good mentor in JR who we just got off there with, but he taught him a lot about how to recover, whether it's stretching, diet as well. Yeah. Where do you get these ideas from?
Yeah, definitely. I have this, the hard work, the mindset definitely comes from my dad, because he was a hard worker as well. But, you know, the mental approach to it and how you kind of want to work, like, it's not just all about hard work. It's about working on the right things with the right people as well. Right now, I'm actually reading a book. Wait, it's called, it's right here. It's called Atomic Habits. So it's basically, just about, you know, how you want to approach it. Like, you don't want to just, you know, work and be better, like try to be better as much as you can. And that day, you kind of want the 1% getting better every single day, that approach. And just like what I said, also like working with the right people. Like, I know that I can't, you know, I'm not really a good skills guy. So I try to get my trainer from the Philippines, who I've trained with since I left university, go with me basically to work out still in Japan. And I also have a strength and conditioning coach, who's my age as well. But he's, you know, I know that he knows his stuff. He's I think he's the first guy that came out with an online program in the Philippines, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And I also have a nutritionist, who watches the food that I eat. So yeah, I just know that, you know, when I see a good player, I mean, yeah, when you see LeBron James, you don't see LeBron James as like, oh wow, he's such a great player. I don't see that. I see like, wow, he has a great team. He has a great people around him. So yeah, that's what I tried to do. I just tried to get, you know, who I think would best, you know, work with me, who I could, you know, really work with and stay for a long time. That's what I tried to do before going on my first year. So yeah, it's been going good so far. I mean, I'm eating healthy. Like, I'm trying to work on my physical conditioning and body as well, and my skills. So I guess it's just really just trying to, you know, work with the right people too. Work hard with the right people. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's extremely rare at 23 years old to have that kind of
like I'm kind of blown away by your mindset right now, because at 23, I wasn't on that level of thinking. I didn't get there until 26, 27. I just purely relied on, like, I worked hard, but my mindset wasn't thinking about my team and all that. I just relied on my raw abilities.
Yeah. That because you had something to rely on. I mean, like, probably I don't really have that much. Like, I think it's also the reasons why I also do these things is also because I'm scared. Like, you know, like, I don't really have like just like what I said, like the natural basketball skills, like the natural basketball gift that I could just, you know, do anything at will. Just like, you know, a lot of people.
You look good. You look good on the highlights I watched. Like, you have to think, man, like the athleticism and the speed that you have, you can't just get that one day. You can put the skills on later. You've got something that a lot of people have to work years and years and years to even get close to what you got. You put skills with that, it's a game changer.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, as basketball players, we try to work on our weakness. We try to be, you know, weaknessless, you know, basically trying to just make sure that we get better at one thing. Try to work on one weakness, and then after you work on that weakness, you work on the next weakness that you have, and just like keep asking your coach, keep asking like people, how do you think you could improve your game? I think that's because I want to play, because I think my mindset is like I really want to play as long as I can. Like hopefully, I mean, if I'm given the chance, play, get opportunities in my second year too, that would be amazing. So I'm trying to work on that too. That's what I'm working on. I'm not just working on, on one season. Like I'm working on like my career as well. Like I just want to keep getting opportunities too. So I just try. I try to, just work on everything as much as I could, because I don't want to regret anything at the end of the day that I didn't do.
I think that's really important. I read a few books recently, The Relentless by Michael Jordan's trainer. Also like Mamba Mentality. You can kind of get some, I guess, ideas of what you can incorporate into your own routine. Kobe worked out like 3 times a day, woke up at 3 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of downtime. I mean, when you're like overseas, there's not much to do, no family around. So you just kind of want to, I just don't want to not do anything, So I just try to learn something new.
You're doing it the right way, though, man. You're really building a very solid foundation, and it's really, really good that you're starting so early.
Thank you. I mean, I'm just trying my best.
I have a question from actually a fellow Ateneo high school basketball player right now.
Wow.
His name is Chris Urbina, and he wants to know, I guess in your second year at Ateneo, you had to sit out because of academic reasons, and how that kind of impacted your mindset and maybe what you learned from that experience.
Well, I guess what that taught me a lot of things, especially with my attitude and my approach, because coming in that first year, my freshman year, I came off of, although we lost in the finals, that was an MVP season, one of the top guys to come out of high school. So, you have that kind of like try to go in there with like swagger, thinking that, you could just, I handled my business in high school. I could handle it when I get to college. And, it was a shock in my first year, because coming off of like almost a triple-double average, I think I scored like 1.9 points per game, and I grabbed like 0.9 rebounds, played like less than 7 minutes, I think, in my freshman year. And I was like, even with that, I was thinking like, oh, I could skip class. Oh, I don't really have to go to class. Like, I have this in check. Like, I'm just gonna play ball, and everything's gonna handle itself. And that was a shock. Like, I mean, that was a very like upset. Like, not really upset. That rookie year was like one of the worst years I've had, and it was really bad. Like, you hear everything from everyone, from your from your community, from other communities. So it was very tough. I mean, people had expectations of you, thinking that you're just gonna produce the same numbers that you produced like in your last year in high school. And at the same time, you fail class, and you almost get like kicked out. I almost got kicked out of school. So that was an experience. I mean, that really changed my mindset. Like, who did I think I was? You start thinking about those things when it happens. Like while it wasn't happening, you think like, you're on top of the world and you could do whatever you want and get away with it. But that's an experience that, I had. Like, I told myself, I don't want to experience this ever again. I don't want to be like, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. And coming in my second year, I wasn't even allowed to practice with a team B, the second team. So I basically had to work with, a personal skills coach, and I had a strength and conditioning coach as well. So I was working out a year by myself. Never really had the experience of team practice or team basketball. outside of like pickup games from here and there, but it wasn't really basketball. Like I wanted to learn, but it was tough. I had to sit out that year. And yeah, I mean, from my first year back, that was also the year that Coach Tab Baldwin became the head coach of Ateneo. And from then on, I mean, from the moment I met Coach Tab, I mean, a lot of things changed, definitely. Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. I'd say that, like, the way that he taught me the game and the way, like, he taught me how to approach the game, how to be professional, and just the mindset of, he's the head coach, but he's, like, the hardest worker, one of the hardest working guys in the team. I see him in the gym. Like, I go to practice early, and I see him there early. I think the earliest one amongst the coaching staff too. So just seeing that really just inspired me and just changed my mindset that, yeah, you see like he's a really great coach, but you don't see like the amount of preparation that he does, like the amount of time that he spends in the office, in our gym is like incredible. So I'm like, okay, like it's not just all about like having the gift of like, being really smart and being really, having the feel for the game. It's also about like, putting in the work, because when you put in that work, it takes care of itself. Like you might not see the development, right away, but you could see like you slowly progress where you break that certain, like, there's a certain term in that book where you kind of break like the expectations that you think that, like the feeling of disappointment of not getting the result that you want when you finally break that barrier and start seeing, yourself progress. And that's kind of how like, I started out too. Like I was frustrated because I was putting in that work, but by the time that in my third year, I was like, putting in the work, and I could see that, okay, I made it to the first team, and the year I got back, we lost the finals, but it's progress, I guess, coming from that average that I've had in my freshman year. In my second year, I made it to the first team. Sorry, my second year back, I made it to the first team. We lost the finals, but in the next years, we were able to win the finals, and it's been great from then on. So that's the kind of mindset that I had, that I just don't want to regret anything anymore, and I don't want to, tell myself that I wish I had done this, like when something goes wrong. So I try to lessen that as much as possible. So.
Yeah, actually, like another interesting story is Dwayne Wade couldn't play his first year in college because of academic reasons, and he ended up bouncing back, being one of the greatest players to play. So it's actually a testament, you being so young, bouncing back. You probably have a great supporting system around you that helped you through that as well.
Definitely. That I was going to say too, that, I wish I could tell you guys that I did this alone, but I'm just, it's just a product of the people that was around me during that time where I needed help. And when they were there, my family, definitely, my friends, my best friends that were there, and they were always so positive about me. And from then on, like I really, you really have doubts, like, can I actually like bounce back from this, especially early on. And when it was funny because when it happened, when I actually failed, my parents didn't even like, I don't think they were sad about it at all. They were more like, okay, this happened. What do we do now? Like, what do you have to do? Okay, you've done this already. You committed this mistake. Now you have to do this. Now you have to do that. And that just like really showed how much my parents really wanted to help me. They didn't even like have that, you should have been like this. You should have been like that. You're such a bad person, something like that. But yeah, they didn't really give me much smack about it. But that definitely helped me, especially the coaches, my whole team, my teammates too. When I came back the year after that, I really felt like I didn't leave, and that definitely helped a lot. Especially with you're just trying to cope again, trying to feel like trying to find your place in the team. So that helped a lot. So just like what I said, it's not like a one person thing. You you just have to like, I'm just also blessed with the people around me and the support system that I've had.
Yeah, but it's a testament to you to make the decision so young to know that you don't want to feel like that again, and then to dedicate yourself to it. Because it's one thing, like mistakes are going to happen. You're going to make a turnover in the game, but are you going to hustle back and make a play on defense? Like we have to make that decision, and it's great that you made it early on.
Yeah, definitely. And it boils down, just like what you said, it could be like, a long-term thing, like, oh, this is not going to happen again in my career. And it could also like be like one of those, like, oh, if I make a turnover, what am I going to do with it? So that mentality just, is everywhere, is what you do with everything that you do. Like when you make a mistake, what are you going to do about it? Like it's either it's fight or flight. So yeah, it's always been, and we always fight. So you know that, yeah, that's what I always try to do.
Growing up with your family, having so much, I guess, basketball players around, when did you know that you could make the leap to pro or even, I guess, play internationally? Well,
to be honest with you, I don't think I ever had that, like, realization, even in my last few years in college. But what I had was an opportunity. And I was like, well, okay, so this opportunity isn't really given to everyone. And I was, I think I was given an opportunity to be the first Asian import. So I was like, okay, so this is definitely a challenge, and this is definitely something that I would do. Because if you ask my teammates or my friends, like, I think I'm a competitor. Like I always like to challenge myself. Like, when we play, even in pickup games, I always try to put the best five against. Always want to play against the best five, and I always want to have like I want to be teammates with everyone who's not the next four, the last four, and that's how I always want to challenge myself. And I feel like when I was given the opportunity to play internationally, I was like, yeah, that's definitely going to be a challenge because it's something that that was never done before. And it's something that, Filipinos aren't used to, living alone. And, it's not just on the court too. There's a lot of off-court battles, homesick, getting homesick, loneliness, if you're living alone. So it's a thing. So a lot of players do that, even in the Philippines. Like there are really great players in the provinces that want to go home because when they go to the city, they feel homesick. It's a totally different lifestyle, and they're alone. And I'm thinking about that while going to Japan. I was like, yeah, I'm ready for the challenge. And yeah, but just like what I said, I never really felt like there was that moment when I was like, oh, I'm already like, like I'm already ahead of the Philippines when it comes to basketball. But it's really more like, oh, it's another. I was challenged, with that opportunity, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna take it definitely because I want to challenge myself, and I want to compete, and I want to compete at like the highest level that I can. And I think like it's a good challenge for to be in and to play Japan. So definitely that.
Okay, so I want to ask you, my first year, I was overseas in Germany, and I'm like you, I come from a big family, a really, really strong support system. So I'm going to ask you, what have you learned about yourself that you didn't know, being alone and in a foreign country? Like for me, I learned that I was mentally stronger than I ever thought I was before.
Exactly. Yeah, the same thing. Okay, so I'll be honest, like growing up, like we would have people that would help us in the house. So I never really had to cook. I never really had to do laundry. I never really had to like, do much outside of just, staying in my room and waking up and leaving to go work out and go back. But everything that, it's the first time that I've done it. And I didn't realize I could actually do it. Like, I'd have to like go to the grocery. I'd have to, it might sound like,
no, bro, I know the feeling. Like I know that exact feeling.
But yeah, like my family really took care of me when I was back home. So just that, and just being alone for a long time. I was never used to. It's the first time I've been alone my whole life like this long. So I never actually thought that I was mentally strong till now. Like I was actually this strong mentally because I think. I mean, it's early on, but so far so good. I've been, I was able to adjust to the lifestyle pretty quick, I guess. And with the help of my team and everyone else. And just like what you said, I didn't think that I could actually do it. Being in a foreign country, not knowing anyone, basically, and to do that, it's already a leap, and it's already like a big mental decision, and it's kind of like that. It could it could be harder. It could be it could challenge you too. So definitely not easy, but I never thought I could adjust to it like this. So that's what I realized.
Like in the Philippines, basketball is like their sport.
I know.
Yeah, it's huge, right? They have like a huge mural of Kobe.
Yeah. Like I've had some offers to play out there in the summer, so I know it's huge there.
Everywhere, yeah.
We're actually planning to team up with a basketball organization there called Pro X to maybe do a summer clinic there when the whole situation subsides. But if you're ever there, I might have to contact you.
You already know. I got you.
Kind of speak upon that, the kind of passion that the Philippines has for basketball.
Well, I mean, it was way more famous before. That's what I heard. When there was the time called there was this player called Jaworski. I think he's the most famous. Robert Jaworski. I think he's the most iconic Filipino basketball player of all time. I think he played in the 80s, and whenever his team would play, it would be crazy. Like if like Ginebra, they're the craziest team. Like whenever they play, like the whole city, they're like the Lakers of the Philippines. So like you already know, like everyone's there when they start playing, and everyone's a fan of that team. So and in the Philippines, like basketball is crazy in general. Like you'd see basketball courts everywhere out in the street. If you see we could walk past a small street and you'd see I'm pretty sure there's like a basketball like ring built somewhere around it, whether it's on a pole, whether it's on the side of a building or the side of a wall, it's going to be there. Filipino love watching basketball in general. And even now, even though like not much people watch, it's not as much as, as before. People would still watch on TV and the games. And I think like it definitely is the most famous sport. So definitely big in the Philippines. So crazy. The basketball world is crazy in the Philippines.
Yeah, I kind of saw that. I guess Kobe was your favorite player, and he visited Philippines quite often. Did you have any kind of interaction with Kobe when he visited, or?
Yeah, I was able to meet him luckily three or four times when he went here.
Wow.
And which is funny because with the first time that he came out here, like he played 3-on-3, but he was teammates with my dad. Like he went like my
mall.
Dad,
I think there's clips of it on YouTube.
At the mall. My dad was his teammate. You'd see my dad there, and the next time that he came to the Philippines, he was teammates with my brother.
Wow.
Funny. So they were teammates again. And the last time he came out here, I was in his team as well, but he was already just coaching us. So that's the year that he stopped playing. That was 2016. And I was just lucky to be given the opportunity, and I was actually able to see him in person. And my brother actually got our shoe signed by him. It was funny because it was in a club, but my friend, my friend kind of knew like the people that he was with, and he was able to give us, access to that. And he signed both pairs. So that's still in the house, and it said that he put Be Epic on both sides of the shoe. So I was just like, I'm definitely gonna live this. Like I want to be epic too. So always had that like mentality that, just like what Kobe wrote in my shoe, like just want to be epic.
Have you read Mamba Mentality?
Not yet, sadly.
It's a must. You gotta read it, man.
Definitely on the list. My brother has that book, but I don't think should have gotten it from him. I don't think he was reading.
It just puts you into like the mindset of where he was when he was and why he did what he did. It's amazing. Yeah.
Definitely. Like the what's your 4 a.m. mindset, right?
All right, so we're in the Mount Rushmore section of this podcast. It's your top 4. So who are the top 4 basketball players in your mind?
Who am I, like all time or anywhere?
Yeah, your own top 4.
How can I not say Kobe? Like, like it's always been Kobe. So definitely number 1 is Kobe. I have to say Jordan, definitely. Jordan's up there because, you know, you can't leave him. He should be number 1, but for me, Kobe's number 1. Well, okay, you know what? Yeah, Jordan's number 1. Kobe's right beside him, you know, a little right beside him. Why am I saying these names? LeBron James, because, you know, it's funny because my friend and I really tried to embody that whole. We pretended I'm like LeBron James and he's Maverick Carter. Do you guys know Maverick Carter?
Yes.
Yeah, like he's basically the guy, like the mind, the brain behind LeBron James. And this, my best friend is kind of like, you know, doing the same thing for me. Oh, you have to do this. Oh, you have to do that. That's gonna be good for you. And the last one. Okay, can I add like a couple of people because, you know, my dad and my brother.
Yeah, it's your top whatever.
My dad and my brother. So
okay,
my inspiration, you know, behind playing basketball was I wanted to be like them, and they were guiding me all throughout my career, even until now. So they have to be up there. And Devin Booker, I like his mentality too. We were born the same year. He's just a month older than me, so it's kind of like you know, like your inspiration. Like you want to be like that at this age, and he's that guy who's born the same year as me, and I want to be like him. And he has a really great mindset too, and so
he works hard too, man. He puts a lot of work in.
A lot of work, definitely, and. Yeah, I guess it would be that. Like out of the young guys, Devin Booker's got to be in my list, number 1. And yeah, Ja Morant, just because of that, you know, that dog mentality.
You're such a wing, man. You give the big man no love.
Huh?
I say you're such a wing. You give the big man no love.
My bad. Like I grew up a guard, and you know, I was always used to watching guards. I'm sorry, but you know, there's a lot of big men that definitely has to be on that list.
You could at least throw Shaq in there just to make me happy.
Okay, Shaq, for sure.
I appreciate it.
Probably Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki was my idol when I was a kid.
Good pick.
Yep, because, you know, he was epic. You know, and even like knowing the story that he had where he was actually just supposed to be back in Germany, but he ended up in this camp where he was discovered and ended up being Dirk Nowitzki. So his story was amazing too. And I heard that he was a great guy on and off the court. So yeah, Dirk Nowitzki.
All right, Thirdy. Well, thank you for coming on. We appreciate the time that you spent with us. Hopefully we could do this again, kind of catch up with you.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Young fella, man, it was great talking to you. Thank you for being on with us, Thirdy. You got a really good mindset at such a young age, man. We really appreciate you being with us.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me. I hope I wasn't talking too much because, you know, I don't really have people to talk to out here. So I'm just like talking as much as I can.
Hey, we look forward to doing it again, man, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Just hit me up. Good luck on the show.
For sure, bro. This has been the IKEMAX experience. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We're available on all platforms. Once again, Thirdy, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
For the Filipino audience, maraming salamat po. 日本の方、最後までご視聴いただきありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価よ よろしくお願いします。